What is going on out there, world? It's your boy Tommy on the spot for Watch Along Wrestling. Thanks so much for checking out the channel here today. I have moved things over to the couch, which means that it's time for an unboxing. First unboxing I've done in a while. Typically like to do unboxings on a Friday, as I do think it's a nice little setter for the weekend. Gets you all set. It's a fun, lighthearted video. But with that being said, I had gotten this just yesterday, and I thought, you know what, with Father's Day season right here, it was just Father's Day yesterday, you can tell I've got a little glow to me, a little sunburn there. It looks absolutely hideous, so I won't show you too much more. But with that being said, I had a wonderful Father's Day. The wife, the kids, my mother, my sister, everyone just had a great time. We went over to Rye Playland here in New York City. Spent the day out there at the amusement park. We ended up just having a lot of fun, just a lot of time, great time with family. Wife and I got away for a date night on Saturday night, got to check out the new Bad Boys movie, and it was so much fun. So being a dad is without question the best job in the world. I've had the opportunity now to be a dad to a beautiful young girl now for over 4 years, and most recently, this is my first Father's Day as a father of two, for my son, who was born last October. So lots of fun, really great. Recognize how blessed I am, and just the best. So a great time for Father's Day. But with Father's Day approaching, I got something yesterday from my mother that I thought everyone would get a kick out of. I kind of knew it was coming, which is why if you had listened to me and Steve over the weekend, I mentioned I was going to be doing this unboxing. My plan was to do it yesterday, but honestly, it was just so fried after everything. I figured, let's do it bright and early, Monday morning, and get it up for all of you here to start your week. I think you will also get a kick out of it. But I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my old man. My dad, unfortunately, passed away in 2015. Very tough to deal with, certainly. Even going on now almost 9 years, still miss him every day. And for me, I mention him because for me, he's the reason that I got into being a wrestling fan. The story goes that my mother had to work on the weekends on Saturdays and Sundays. So when I was very little, so that was kind of my time with him to bond, as I'm talking like infancy, like in the little rocker, boom, 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 doing the thing. And we'd watch wrestling all day long, 3 hours on Saturday, 3 hours on Sunday. And he said, as I got a little older, this went on for about 2 years, he said as I got a little older, I'd start to get a little excited about it, a little more into it. And he always felt like that is what got me into being the wrestling fan. Certainly that I have been for many years, and go on all these wrestling trips and everything that comes with being a fan for me to this day. I owe it all to him. So, even growing up past that infancy stage, he was such a big fan. I'd say he was probably a huge wrestling fan, I'd say till about 2001. I think right at 2001 was when I saw his interest starting to wane. But he was such a fan that he started to do the kind of the fun things that, were relatively inexpensive, but at the same time were like things you'd want to do as a fan. The kind of the extra type of wrestling events that I still do to this day, and I actually probably prioritize, and I think a lot of that comes from him. For example, it took me on the USS Intrepid on the 4th of July to see Lex Luger body slam Yokozuna, because that's what he wanted to do, but at the time, it was just a great thing for the two of us to do. Took me to the Fan Fest associated with WrestleMania 10 in New York City. Even though we didn't go to Mania 10, for me, that's like one of my favorite memories of all time, is going to the Fan Fest. And it was the inspiration for this year, realizing I wouldn't be able to go to WrestleMania some 30 years later, taking my daughter to WWE World, which is kind of like WWE Fan Fest, and enjoying all the festivities that came along with that, even though we knew, and I knew, that I wouldn't be going to WrestleMania proper. So kind of took me back there. We did the WrestleMania 11 press event, whatever that was called, with LT and Bam Bam and Shawn Michaels and Diesel over in Times Square, when you probably shouldn't have been hanging in Times Square, but we went. My dad, a big Jets fan. My uncle was a huge Giants fan. So for us, this was like the biggest event ever, this WrestleMania. So WrestleMania 11 is dogged on by so many people. Annually, my dad and I would watch WrestleMania 11, and the main event of that show each and every year right before WrestleMania. He'd come over a little early, we'd pop in LT versus Bam Bam, we'd watch the match, and we'd just get so into it. And it was so much fun, because my uncle, not really a wrestling fan at all in my life. He's probably about 16 or so years older than me. And when he ended up, becoming a fan for that period of time in '95, it was just so much fun. He was watching the shows every week and just loved it all because of Lawrence Taylor and being such a huge Giants fan growing up. So again, loved that piece. And then, as I got even older through there, once Monday Night Raw started, obviously I was in school, And, he'd allow me to, I remember when WWE started doing a 3 jam-packed minutes extra. So, my bedtime was 9 o'clock. Raw would start at 9, but for a while they were starting it at 8:57 to get the leg up on Nitro. So he let me watch the first 3 minutes, and then boom, 9 o'clock came, I'd be off to bed. And then from there, it kind of bleed into, all right, we'll watch the first segment. No matter what it is, watch the first segment, first match, and then I had to go to bed. And then eventually, obviously, as I got older through the Attitude Era, I would have, those nights to get together with the family. And so it was always Sunday, was always the night, no matter what, on a pay-per-view night, I was always able to stay up late, and we do it up. My dad ordered every single WWE pay-per-view from like 1991 when they came to our house and set up the cable for WrestleMania 7, all the way through until, I'd say, probably until I got to that age where I could start going to order these shows at my friend's house by all of us throwing down a little money. So I'd say probably till about 2002 or 2003. It was 2003, and I remember it was actually the first pay-per-view we skipped was the event where Brock Lesnar fought John Cena when they were both very, very young, and he was like, "How are we supposed to believe these guys are going for a title, going for the world title program?" Just was not a John Cena guy at that point. I want to say this is 2003, so it was very early in Cena's run, and we didn't order that show. That was the first one I don't think we ordered since like 1991. So you think about that, that was like over 12 years of ordering every single WWE pay-per-view. And we'd have these big pay-per-view parties. We'd go out, we'd get snacks. My dad would barbecue. Well, we'd have so much fun. And like so many of my memories growing up are tied to these pay-per-view weekends. And then the Attitude Era, when I got a little older, I'd be able to watch Raw and stay up late each night to watch Raw with him. And we always would. We'd always have a great time. And I'd say it probably culminated with, my dad would always take me to all of my first wrestling shows growing up at the Garden. That was like our thing. Anytime Madison Square Garden had a WWE show, we'd usually try to go. We'd hop on the LIRR. Long Island Railroad, boom, right to Madison Square Garden. It was perfect. It was easy. And we'd go to like countless shows. And it probably culminated with the last event that he and I went to together, last wrestling show, many years before he passed. He probably waned on his interest in wrestling significantly after this. But Survivor Series 2002, we went to the Survivor Series 02 in Madison Square Garden, went together, had so much fun. And I remember he was a huge Lesnar guy, and was just so excited to see him and Big Show. He just thought, like, could he get him up for the F5? When he did, he's screaming, jumping up and down, doing the 1, 2, 3. Missed the idea that Heyman had pulled the ref out and turned on Brock. And it was such a cool experience, so much fun. And I'd say, right, even the year that he passed, like, as his interest in wrestling waned, he'd usually still try to order the big shows. He'd say, let's get together and watch the big four if I wasn't traveling to them. And even the last one that he was around for, I remember it was WrestleMania 31. He passed the end of 2015, but like WrestleMania 31, I remember he and I being like in constant contact for, because he was still like tickled with the idea that I was starting to go to all the WrestleManias. Like he thought that was just the coolest thing, that I'd found somebody to spend my life with. My girlfriend at the time, now my wife, who would actually want to go to these shows with me. And so he would tell me, hey, I know you're going to WrestleMania. I remember he shot me a message, hey, Rock was just on SNL in New York last night. No chance he's going to be there at Mania 31, because of the fact that at the time, every show my wife and I went to, The Rock made an appearance. We'd only been to two together. I guess 3. So I guess other than the first one, when we went to WrestleMania 30, Rock made an appearance. Went to Barclays Center Raw, October 2014, Rock made a surprise appearance. So we were excited. Maybe Rock was coming for 31. My dad was like, he's not coming. He was just on SNL. We didn't even know. So we were like, it is what it is. And then, of course, Rock showed up. I sent him the picture. He was like, how did he even pull that off? That's amazing. And then after that, we went back. When we got back home, like I was so amped up over this WrestleMania. I remember I had to show him the Hunter versus Sting match and the Roman versus Brock match where Seth cashed in. And he was like, I got to see what Undertaker did. He always called Undertaker his guy, UT, and he's like, let me see the match, UT, and watched Taker and Bray, and he loved that match. Thought it was such a good match, and was just amazed that Bray Wyatt was the son of IRS, and he loved it. So it was very, very cool, and I enjoyed watching that with him. So I do apologize for that tangent, but I felt it was, if any video I'm going to go do a little tribute to my dad, it'd be this one, since it is talking about Father's Day. With that being said, let's get into the unboxing. And again, I think if you're checking out this video, you see the thumbnail, you know already what this item is. It's already in the title, so hopefully you enjoyed these stories as well. Here we go. So this I got yesterday after, so I filmed the beginning portion of this for a vlog I'll probably put up later in the week or next week, where my mother had given me a Aaron Rodgers Jets shirt, and then at the end said, oh, I also got you this. And I was like, how do you give me this as a throwaway? when I could have easily unboxed it on the channel. But in any event, I have it here. And here it is. So it is the Dad 316. You can see the authentic WWE sticker right there. Dad 316. This is the Stone Cold Steve Austin. And on the back, it says, "Cause I said so." It is a WWE shop, Fanatics, whatever it is, exclusive. I'm pretty sure they probably even have do they have the authentic? Yeah, look at that. The authentic WWE authentic tag right in there. And very, very cool. You know, for me, one of the things I've always loved about being a dad is the idea of these like incredibly corny, you know, dad hats, dad mug, love you dad, all that silliness. And so for me, like, what better thing in the world than to get this thing of beauty right here, this wrestling inspired dad shirt, Dad 316, and of course on the back, "Cause I said so." It is, they have done this with the Stone Cold stuff. It is out of control how ridiculous it is with the Stone Cold 316 stuff. Every single city you go to, there's usually an Austin, whatever. No, you know, usually like if you're in Chattanooga, there's like Chattanooga 316, Minnesota 316, Brooklyn 316, every single city, and yet they're like the hottest selling items. Austin is always towards the top, so they've just milked this for all it's worth. That probably in the NWO, they'll have like the Chattanooga World Order or whatever it is. Why am I shouting out Chattanooga twice? I have no idea. But in any event, that is why I enjoy this so much. The Dad 316, you know, not sure how much mileage I'll get in rocking it. Maybe I'll rock it for the next video I do with Steve later in the week, but wanted to share that all with each and every one of you. And there you go, because I guess Dad 316 says I just whooped your ass, and that's the bottom line, because I said so. I'll see you in the next video.